Okay, I'm back again, and as you can see, I have traced my leaves on here. Now I've gone ahead and taken a black pen and marked them out. Now I don't usually do that. I usually use a pencil, but I did this so that you could see the lines better. And what we're going to do next here is we're going to start, I'm going to come in and cut these lines around the face, and I'm going to go ahead and delineate the face and separate it from the leaves a little bit. I won't finish it right now, but we're going to do this so that we can begin to start working on the different levels of the leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my very sharp detail knife, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start cutting right along the line. I'm cutting it fairly deep. Just going to cut it all the way around. And up in here, I need to do some work on this brow. It's stuck out too high, and I'm going to take all this back down a little bit, which will also give those leaves enough room that I can start shaping them. Okay, come in here right on the nose. Now one thing I need to show you here, I'm going to get up a little closer. If you look right here, you can see this line. This line was the original leaf that I had drawn off the pattern, and you can see I extended it out, and I did that on purpose so that I can get a smoother transition on this cheek. But we'll look at that in a minute. Now a lot of times I also, instead of doing this with a knife, I'll do it with a V-tool. But sometimes, and this may be the case, sometimes it's easier to do it with a knife. Okay, I'm just cutting those lines. I'm cutting them in pretty deep. Alright. And now I am going to take, and you don't have to do it this way, I'm actually going to take this skew. Now if you've seen me in the past, you know that I like to use a skew. A lot of people don't. But I can take this skew, and I'm using the point of it right here. I'm going to stick it right down in there, and I'm just going to start taking some wood off right there. See how that looks? A little bit hard to see, but I'm easing that back, and I've got me a little gap between the face and the leaf right there. I'm going to come right up here, and I'm just going to kind of ease it down in that corner, and I'm actually going to lower this brow up here. I'm doing this very carefully, trying to stay controlled in this cut so that I don't mess up my leaf up there. Okay. Now if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I like to have the forehead slanted back a little bit. So as I do this, that's what I'm going to do. And you may have to come back and cut these lines in a little bit deeper as you go. That's okay. Just get right back on the same line, like so. Now you can also do this with a knife, and sometimes it might even be easier to do it with a knife. And just now, right now, I'm not really even sloping that forehead back. I'm just getting it cut up here so I can see what I'm doing better. Now if you remember, the human forehead, in this case this is not a human, it's a Greenman, but it's going to be basically flat from the center of the eye to the center of the eye. And that's one reason why I'm lowering all this. If you look at it from the side, excuse me, you can see the little notch I've got here. Well, I'm going to take all that down just a little bit more so I can kind of flatten this forehead out. And then once I kind of establish where I want my forehead to start out, I'll start sloping it back to get that little bit of slant that we want on the forehead. Okay, come in here and cut a little more over here. I'm going to go back to my skew right here. I'm going to kind of come and do the same thing that I did on the other side. I'm just taking a piece of wood out of there and starting to separate this face from the leaves. Okay, see how he's starting to look? Can you see him here? Alright, now I'm going to put that little bit of slope I was talking about, and I just start right out here at the brow, and I just come back and slope that forehead back some. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but I like a little bit of slope on that forehead. Now also, this is going to round back into that face, starting off that corner where we talked about a little bit. Okay, just like so. Alright, now I got to come over here and do the same thing over here on the other side. Working him down a little bit here. I'm going to turn him upside down where I can see a little better what I'm doing. Now I'm kind of rounding that a little bit. I'm going to come in here and get that a little deeper. Right there. Alright. Now let's see if I can get him where you can see him right here. My cat is over there raising hell. Okay, now can you see just a little bit of slope going back? Now, right there, okay. And you can also see the depth that I've created. The depth I've created from here to here. That's going to give me room to do some things here in a little bit. Now I'm going to come on and round this back just a little bit more for right now. Now as we go along, I'll probably do more there. Now I'm going to come down here on this cheek, and I'm once again going to take that, and I'm kind of working back in behind that leaf, and I'm going to start giving some roundness to this cheek down here. Now you can do this with a knife also. I'll do the other one with a knife. But here again, for my own purposes, I find it much easier to round things, especially cheeks and features on the face with a skew. You can give it a try. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to work on this other side just a little bit. And once again, I'm going to use a knife on this side just to show you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rounding that cheek down in there. Now later on I'll come back and work on this some more. All I'm really trying to do right now here again is get this face separated from the leaves so that we can start working on them some. Now I'll eventually round that up a lot more after a while. Alright, now okay, so now I've got the face, and the face is separated from the leaves. Now what you do when you start on these leaves is I'm actually going to start up here at the top because this is the highest point. Now this single leaf is going to kind of stick out, and this leaf and this leaf are going to kind of be behind that. And as I work down the face, this leaf's going to be behind this one. This leaf will be behind this one until you get right down here to the mustache. And then this leaf here is going to tuck in behind the mustache. And then as you come down the face, you can see that the other leaves, this leaf will tuck in behind the mustache. This leaf will tuck in behind the mustache, and it'll also tuck in behind here. And then this will be the bottom leaf. And we'll work on them. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start cutting these leaves. Now you can do this with a knife, but I also find it handy to if you have the proper size tool. Now this particular tool is about 1/8 of an inch, and it's about a number 7, but I find that it fits the inside of these little deals perfectly. So I can take my tool very carefully, and I have to kind of do it in two times, or you can just roll it, and I can get the inside corners of those pretty easy using this tool. And I want to make sure I'm pushing it straight in, not undercutting anything. Okay, and I can also use it on the outside of these leaves here. Alright, so I'll go ahead and push that in, get that outside on that leaf. Let me turn it over right here. And now I'm actually slanting this a little out away from the leaves just so I don't undercut it. Alright, now there, I can do that one there. Now I also can do one right here, this inside corner, because that profile fits it pretty well. I do it here, right here. And you just want to go around and set those leaves up. Now I'm not going to do all these on camera. I am going to do these 3 top leaves to show you, and then I'll go off camera and do some of these other things. Now I'm going to come back and take my knife here. You'll notice that I'm running kind of in between those cuts, that I made with my my small gouge. Alright, come down here, come over here and do the same thing on this side. Alright, come here like so. I'm going to come on down here and get this third leaf also. Come in right here. Now I didn't cut that one on the inside with my chisel, but I did it with that one, and that's fine. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here and remove some material so that this leaf will appear to go under that leaf. And here again, there's several ways you can do it. You can do it with a knife. Personally, here again, I like to use my skew. Now you'll notice I'm not taking the whole leaf down necessarily. What I'm basically going to do is slant this leaf from the outside back in. And here again, I want to go, I want to leave it a big 1/16. I want to take at least that much material out. The more you do here, actually, the more delineation and the better it will look. Now I don't have to take too much, and the reason why I say this is because here in a little bit we're going to take a gouge, and all this will be gouged out, scooped out, so you'll actually end up going deeper than what you've got right now. Okay, just kind of work back in here, and I'm just going to kind of ease this out. Now see, this is, to my mind, so much easier to use this skew than it is to do with a knife. Now you can do it with a knife, and if I was going to use one, I've got this knife here that has the upswept blade, and it does work pretty good, especially getting in tight areas like this. Take just a little more out of there, and you don't have to worry about cleanup right now so much, but I am kind of a stickler and like to keep the fuzzies down. Now I don't know if you can see this right here, but you can see I've got a big 1/16 of an inch in there right now, and cut this a little bit right here. Got a big 1/16 of an inch, but by the time I hollow this leaf out, it's going to be more like an 1/8 of an inch almost, which is okay. Now you come around and do the same thing on the other side. Now you do it with a knife, like I said, you just kind of make a slice and cut here, and be careful, just kind of remove that wood, come back, work your way in the corner. And you can do it with a knife if you don't have a skew. I wish more people would use a skew. I think they would, once they got used to it, they would learn to love it like I did. I got used to it because that tool came in the first set of carving tools I ever had. And I thought, well, I might as well figure out how to use it, and I did, and I couldn't be without them right now. Because I do use the skew for so many different things when I'm doing these faces, and well, any kind of carving actually. Okay, I'm gonna clean that up with the skew. It's just so easy. Alright, now we look at it here. That looks, excuse me, I'm off camera here. That looks pretty good. And actually, at this point, you can go around the whole carving, remembering that you're going to be stepping down and setting. As you come down, one leaf is going to run under another leaf. I don't think I've cut that yet. I didn't. Okay, let me cut that right there. Watch your fingers. There's been some controversy about me not wearing a glove, and I wasn't going to address it, but I will just a little bit. I'm all for safety, and I wear gloves at certain times. If I'm using a V-tool when I'm doing detail and things like that, I do wear a glove, and I highly recommend that that you wear a glove, especially if you're a beginner and haven't established your knife control yet. Very good. But like I said, I've been carving for about 20 years, and yes, I have cut myself when I don't wear knives, or excuse me, wear gloves. But and you'll see me wear one before this video's over. Like I said, at times I do wear one, but for the most part, or a lot of times, you're going to see me, I will not have one on. So enough said about that. Like I said, I highly recommend that you get a good Kevlar glove and that you use it. Now see how I did that? Okay. And you just continue to work your way around. You kind of work in steps, like I said. Now, don't get ahead of me, because down here we're also, when we do this leaf, we're going to leave this leaf at this level pretty much. But down below that, you're going to end up dropping down, and we'll, if you'll remember, when I shape this here, I'm going to do some profile work down here too, and let me show you. This is kind of the model we're going by, and you'll notice that down here that it's going to come down and come back up. So we'll be working on that a little bit. Now I'm going to go off camera and go ahead and start working these layers in, and I'll come back here in a little while and show you some more and show you how I did it.